What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pastor Jordan's Book Club, where we're reviewing some books here today. Next book that we have up for you is Jesus Outside the Lines by a guy named Scott Sauls. Whoop, see it right there, Scott Sauls. Jesus Outside the Line, endorsed by Mr. Tim Keller. Right there, Tim Keller, pastor out in New York. Scott Sauls, I guess, was his left or right-hand man, whatever you want to call it. And it is a hefty little book. I shouldn't say hefty. Hefty's probably not the word there. You're probably looking at right around 200 pages. Backside says, essentially, as people who have wrestled much with God's habit of redemptively coloring outside the lines in our own lives, we are so grateful for the wisdom, care, and honesty with which our friend and pastor Scott Sauls has approached this subject. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool stuff. Essentially, you have, if you go into the table of contents, you're going to see all of this stuff right here, and essentially it's broken up into about two parts. Okay, so you're going to have part one, which is Jesus Outside the Lines of My Christian Tribe, and ultimately what he's talking about there is some politics stuff. I don't know if you're a politician type person or not, but he's got some politics stuff in there. So like, should you be Republican? Should you be Democrat? Should you be things like that? Then he's talking about the rich and the poor. It goes along with the church, and then he talks a little bit about money in those chapters. Good stuff. I think it's good stuff. I think he's got some good stuff to say. But it's going to try you a little bit, especially if you're a Christian follower of Jesus, and you've grown up kind of in a conservative way. You're going to look at some of that and think to yourself, maybe not. It's going to try you and test you a little bit, but it'll be good for you. He doesn't really make a fair, like, this is where I stand statement. It's more to get you to think, which is always a plus. That's always good, of course. So that's going to be part one. It's going to be talking about some of that. I'm going to be honest with you. I read a couple of sections of that, and man, I started thinking to myself, like, well, yeah, I can see where he's coming from. Sometimes the political world just, kind of gets a little hazy and stuff like that. So something to think about. All right, but it'll be good. It'll stretch you. And then if you look in part two, right there, it's called Jesus Outside of the Lines of Christianity. So you got Jesus outside of the lines of my Christian tribe, like some of the thoughts and things like that you have in your head. And then it's Jesus outside the lines of Christianity. So he's going to talk a little bit about Christianity in general and stuff like that. Things like affirmation or critiques, accountability, hypocrites, work in progress. He's going to talk about some sex, hope, realism, self-esteem, good esteem, living outside the line, stuff like that. So that's going to be kind of that section too. So what he's going to do is he's going to talk about your circle. Then he's going to go outside of that, and he's going to talk about just general Christianity and what that looks like. The epilogue is okay. When you go to the end of the book, you're going to see some stuff on there. Jesus living outside the lines, what that looks like. He's going to stretch you and push you and some of those things. The big stuff that I got out of it, if you want the truth, there was a huge, great chapter on the hypocrite or the work in process. Man, I got a lot out of that when he talked about just some of the things going on right now today as far as homosexuality is concerned and things like that in chapter 8, which is going to be really good for you. You're going to want to dive in and take a look at that. And then he had some concluding thoughts for non-believers and for some believers too, which essentially is going to outline the whole book. So here's a big spoiler if you're ready for this. Page 194 of this book, which is essentially the last chapter when he talks about living outside the lines. You can cheat and read the whole book in like 5 pages. So he summarizes every single chapter in the back. So if you want to read the whole book, man, go for it. It'd probably be really good for you to read the whole book. But honestly, I got to the end, and he just summarizes the whole entire book in like 5 pages. And I'm like, I should have just read those 5 pages. You know what I'm saying? So that would save me some time, save me some energy, save me some effort. I think what happened was Scott Saul wrote a couple of good blogs, and a couple people liked them, and they ended up throwing them together in a book, which, good, bad, indifferent, it is what it is. So, whatever. Would I recommend it? maybe, maybe not. If you want to be stretched a little bit, sure. Tim Keller fan, Scott Sauls is going to be right there with you. I mean, if you like Tim Keller stuff, he's going to be, stretching and pushing you a little bit. So, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. Again, he's not with Tim Keller anymore. I think he was. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, he did. He served alongside Dr. Tim Keller. Now is the senior pastor of Christ Presbyterian Church in Nashville, Tennessee. It was okay. I don't know if I'd rank it stars or anything like that, but sure, it is what it is. Pick it up. You got some time to read it. Read it. If not, check out the last couple of pages of the book, and it'll give you the whole thing. So that's my take on it. Jesus Outside the Lines, a way forward for those who are taking sides. Mr. Scott Sauls, thank you so much for a great read. What are you reading right now? Go ahead and leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what your thoughts were on the book. And we'll have a conversation, a dialogue about it. If you thought it was good, say hey. If go ahead and give a thumbs up. Hit subscribe for some more book reviews. If you didn't think it was good, book-wise, go ahead and tell me why you didn't think it was good. Give me some recommendations for books too. Love to hear what you're reading and what's going on in your world. So remember, a reader is a leader. God bless.